Hey guys, we are back for another Super 7 review. It's not Masters of the Universe this time, they can't all be, but it's something that's almost just as good for me personally, because this is something that has been with me since I was a little kid, and that would be Super 7's recent release of their ReAction figures, but these are RoBoTECH figures. This is something that I never expected we were ever going to get. I'm very excited to tear into these. The figures in general come on some of the best card backs I have seen in a very, very long time. We've got 6 figures to talk about today, so we're going to run through them real quick. You can check out the packaging here. Most of them are the same as far as the VERITECHs go. There are 4 of those and they are all the same. So we've got the VF-1A here, and you can see it's got this fantastic artwork on the front. We've got the figure in the bubble, and then the backs on these are all the same. They have a slight bio as well, so you can check out what's going on with the back. We've also got artwork for those as well as a lineup. Then we've got the VF-1J, we've got the VF-1D, and then we've got the VF-1S, which is my personal favorite. I'm sure a lot of yours as well. And then something different, we have got the Zentradi Battle Pod, which has its own unique card back. And then the big boy itself, we have got the SDF-1, which also has its own card back. So let's do it. Let's pull these guys out and take a closer look. All right, guys, here we go. All of them out of the package. So we've got 6 figures to chat about today. And I got to say, as I was pulling these out, I was taken aback by just how good these things look on card. So it was very difficult for me to want to pull them out, but we have to do it. I don't really keep a lot of stuff on card, but these things do look amazing. So if you're an on-card collector, you've got some amazing toys if you choose to buy these. And if you're interested in picking some up, you know the drill. I'll put a link down below to Big Bad Toy Store. You can get the whole set there. That's actually where I got mine. So we have got our lineup here. We've got our SDF-1, and this thing is just amazing looking. We have got our VF-1A, VF-1D, VF-1J, VF-1S, and then we've got our Zentradi Battle Pod. We've got a lot of parts reuse on these 4 here in the middle. Kind of makes sense. And then these 2 are 100% unique, and they just look amazing. So we're going to look at the VERITECHs first, and then we'll get to the Battle Pod and a big boy over here. All right, so I figure for ease of use, we'll talk about the 4 VERITECHs all at the same time, because they are, like I mentioned, pretty much just 100% parts reuse from the neck down. We've got our A, our D, our J, and our S. We've got our Skull Squadron VERITECH here. Always my favorite. We've got kind of the standard VERITECH, the VF-1J, and then the D is the one that I believe, if I can remember correctly, that Rick Hunter first used in the earlier episodes. And then we've got the VF-1A, and that's the one that like Ben Dixon used. And I think this is specifically Ben Dixon's just based on the color. His was brown, if I can remember. It hasn't actually been too long since I watched RoBoTECH, but now I'm having a hard time, of course, because I have to remember stuff. But we've got our 4 VERITECHs here, and these are ReAction figures. So, you know, they're minimalistic in terms of articulation. They're minimalistic in terms of detail. But honestly, these are some of the best 3 3/4 inch figures I've gotten in quite a while. They aren't as small as you might expect. They're definitely that size, but they're bulky, they're big. They've got a lot going on in terms of, you know, their backs and just the girth. That everything seems a little bigger because they're just so bulky. They're big robots, and that translates interestingly down into this scale. As far as articulation goes, there's really not a great deal to talk about here. So the heads can rotate, and they rotate at the neck, and then we've got swiveling arms and swiveling legs, and that is it. It's exactly what you expect to get out of this line. Frankly, I'm very, very happy with these. I think they are a fantastic entry into ReAction. I'm a huge RoBoTECH fan to begin with. You know, I don't generally buy toys that I don't like, so it's hard for me to really have a lot of things negative to say. I kind of knew going into this what they looked like, and honestly, they have exceeded expectations. Paint detail on all of these is fantastic. There is a lot of little sculpted detail. They all come with the standard VERITECH blaster rifle, so it's just a cast piece of gray plastic, but it works. It's what they use. And then, of course, they all have their unique head sculpts. They're all translated very well into figure form. Honestly, the backs on these guys is really where a lot of them shine, just because there is a lot of detail sculpted into, you know, these are the wings that they fold back onto the VERITECH. It makes me want to have a Guardian mode or a Gerwalk mode VERITECH as well. I think that'd be cool. That would translate really well into this style, although it honestly might be a little too big just because it's a lot deeper than it is tall. But I really like these. I think they're fantastic. You know, they're $15 each. They're a little on the pricey side just because of what they are, but you know, Super 7's a small company, so I kind of give them a pass when it comes to that kind of stuff. I think these are fantastic additions. A lot of good paint detail on here. I mean, I don't have any real gripes about these. They all have exceptional paint detail. There is no real blemishes that I can speak of on any of these. They're just solid toys. They look cool, and they're really good interpretations of one of my favorite cartoons / anime series. Next up, we've got the Zentradi Battle Pod, and this is honestly something I kind of regret only getting one of, because now that I know how it moves and what it does, this thing's pretty solid. I'm really happy with this. I thought it was just going to be 2 points of articulation, and as far as, you know, movement on the thing, that's pretty much it. The legs swivel. It doesn't have arms or anything like that, but it does have 2 big cannons on the head, and they are ball jointed, and they move all over. So, you know, they would move 360 if they could, so they're just a ball joint in there. That's fantastic. I really like that, because they come in the package straight up, and I didn't know until I kind of bumped them that they moved, so I'm very pleased with that. Again, just like with the VERITECH, paint detail on these things is rock solid. I don't have any real issues. We've got a lot of gray that run down the back of the legs. We got the red accents, the white accents on the actual pod itself. As far as sculpt goes, I mean, it's nailed here. They did a fantastic job actually translating this into figure form. And as far as size comparisons go, because this thing is basically the same height as a VERITECH, you know, because we got a Zentradi warrior inside this thing technically, all hunched in the pod there. So here he is next to a VERITECH. You can see that they are basically the same height. Of course, there is some girthiness difference between the two. They're very different in design and scope, but the scale of these things works really well together. I kind of want a couple more. I still don't know what I'm going to do with these things. I really don't display these too often, but the idea of only having one battle pod just does not seem right to me. And last but certainly not least, we have got the big boy himself. We've got the SDF-1 in all his beefy glory. This thing is enormous for a ReAction figure. I'll show you in a comparison here in a minute exactly just how big it is. I don't think it translates very well without having something to base that scale off of. So we've got, you know, a pretty standard figure as far as articulation goes. Arms can swivel. It's got these big, enormous, you know, aircraft carrier style arms in a battleship. And then we've got the legs that move, but watch moving these there. I mean, honestly, you're not really going to have him doing anything. He just sort of stands there floating in space or sitting, you know, in the ocean basically, because the legs will actually hit these fins that are on the inside of the chest of the torso. So watch that. But in general, this thing's pretty solid. I'm really happy with it. Also, these cannons will move. So that's kind of the additional thing that they added, because the head doesn't move or anything. There's no real other place for him to be articulated. What he does have is a tremendous amount of paint detail. So we've got, you know, the reds and the blues and the white accents that are all over this thing. We got the yellow accents. We got the red accents on the head. We've got black on the back and some more accents down at the bottom. And it's just like with the rest of the figures, you know, all of the paint detail is just well done. It's not over the top or anything. It's just well done. It's where it needs to be, and I don't have any paint slop anywhere. The sculpt on this thing is pretty wild too. Again, it is a humongous figure for this particular line. Bigger than I really expected it to be. It seems odd that this is even offered in this first wave. I figured this would be something that we might have gotten later down the road. But as far as comparisons go, so here he is next to just a regular figure in this line. You can see, you know, back to back, there is a lot of bulk on this guy. He is deeper slightly, but he's also a lot taller just because of the transformation and how he looks when he's transformed. So there's that. But beyond that, though, you know, here he is next to a standard 6-inch scale figure. He's almost 6 inches tall. It's humongous. It's frankly quite large for this particular line. And, you know, for it being the same price as the rest of them, I'm very happy with value for money on this one. You get a lot of plastic in this line for only 15 bucks. And on top of that, I mean, he looks damn perfect. So yeah, at the end of the day, this is a pretty good winner for me. Card art is fantastic. They just look great, even packaged. I mean, like I said, it was very difficult for me to want to pull these things out, but I'm happy I did, because these are awesome toys. They look fantastic. They're sculpted well. They have great paint detail where it's needed. It's not over the top. It's just well done, and it's in place. I'm really hopeful that they continue this line. I would like to see some like Zentradi Warriors or some different VERITECHs, or, you know, I don't know how far this license goes. Can we get some stuff from seasons 2 and 3? That would be fantastic. I'd love to get more stuff from like the Southern Cross and Mospita eras of ROBOTECH. But for now, even if this is all we ever got, this is a great small lineup of figures. And if you're a ROBOTECH fan, you know, you owe it to yourself to get these. They're awesome toys, and especially if you like ReAction. If you like ReAction and you like Robotech, then these are the figures for you. That's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. So that's going to do it for this look at the Super 7 Robotech ReAction figures. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.